Hi, Nikhil. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
It's I'm good. I'm sorry for the little delay, but
No, no,
it's
absolutely fine.
so nice to have you on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I just saw your movie right now. Man, it's
Oh,
phenomenal.
really?
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
phenomenal. Let me tell you, I
Thank
was
you.
like amazed how they did it. It's what was like. So I have million questions for you. I know you have not enough time, but we're gonna figure it out. Just first
Sure.
of all, Nikhil, congratulations on Kill. It's out there here in France, and we are so pleased. But just first of all, just tell me, how are you?
I am. I'm great, and thank you so much for having me over here.
Nikhil, like I just told you, I just saw the movie right now, and I was amazed because let me tell you first. I grew up watching Indian movie and more like Bollywood movies in my family. It was like something like a tradition, watching Bollywood movies in
Wow.
family. Yeah. So I used to watch in Indian movies, but not like yours, not what I just saw today. Let me tell you why. I love how you brought, how you handle in one single movie, which is not that long compared to what we used to experience with
Mhm.
Bollywood movie, 2.5, 3 hours movie.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
how
Yes.
how you handle tradition, love, respect, hierarchy, action, violence, choreography, sadness from both sides, good guys and bad guys. So I have a million questions for you. How did you manage to do it? It's because you directed it and you wrote it, right? What is
Yes.
your
Yes.
influences for this movie?
Uh, inferences, if you ask me, there are, like what you said, like there are millions of films, like so many films. And I've been watching films since I was a kid. And, there's an incident in my childhood, which actually propelled me to watch a lot of foreign movies. And what happened was in India, there's way back in 90s, way back in 80s, actually, there used to be one national channel. And every Sunday there would be one film at 6:15 in the evening. And so that would be the only film playing in that week on the national channel. And one day, like I remember I was like around, I was 8 years old or 9 years old, and I was watching the film, and there was a rape scene in the film. It was a Hindi film, and there was a rape scene in the film. And my uncle, he was just passing by, and he just peeped into the room, and he saw that these are a bunch of kids watching a rape scene on the television, and he thought that it's going to be a very bad influence, so he switched off the television. It did not stop at that. There was a family huddle, and they decided that the kids should not watch any film.
Of course.
So there was a blanket ban on watching any film. But you know what it did to me? I was a rebel child, and I decided, no, nobody can stop me from watching films. What I used to do, I used to run off from the school, go to the theater. So there would be a morning show starting from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that was the time where there would be a lot of Jackie Chan films, there would be Bruce Lee films,
Yeah.
there would be Arnold films, Stallone films, and only those films would come and play at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I would run off from school, watch those films, come back and get into the bus and come back home. So I would have probably watched 100 films, but I ended up watching thousands of films. So what it did was it influenced me. Like I did not even know that I wanted to get into feature films,
Yeah.
but it was subconsciously. It was just I was just getting prepared. So I've seen all kinds of films. Like I've seen Batteries. So I've seen Lucas Talk. All these films I've seen it on in the theater.
It was your
Uh,
classroom in the morning.
yeah, it was my
Classroom
classroom. It
of
was my
theater
classroom.
for you.
Yes.
That is
So that's
amazing.
what it
And we
did.
can feel that in your cinema, right? We can feel that in your
Yeah.
movies.
But if you ask me, like one film, if there
Yeah.
was an influence, um, I was when I was writing this film, just before that, I've seen Aliens a couple of times, and I was watching Aliens again just before. Yeah, and something like, and this was the third time or a fourth time I was watching the film, and such something which suddenly got me into it. That it's a film where that alien creature is trying to save its own kids, and here is the astronaut and who's trying to save that girl. So basically, it is the fight between two mommies.
Yeah, you're right.
They are. Yeah. So because we're watching it from the astronaut's point of view, we are thinking it's the astronaut is the hero, but it's actually, if you look at it from the alien's point of view, the alien is the hero. She's trying to save her own kids.
Now I saw what you did in your movie, because it's from both sides, and both sides are families there, and I was like amazed, because it at the end, it's like maybe like the part 3 of your movie. We understand that bad guys are family too. They try to protect their own, and I say, I love how you handle to switch, the fear, because at the end of the movie, the fear is not from the good guys, it's from the bad guys. Bad guys are fear about Amrit. Amrit is the alien at the end. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Thank you.
Nikhil, I'm going to introduce my friend Nagesh. He's in the room. He's going to join us right now. And he, just like me, he loved your movie.
Bien, bonjour, hello.
Hi, Miraj.
So Miraj is going to ask you the question, I guess, in French, and I'm going to translate for you. But he understands you well, so no worries.
Okay,
oui,
thank you.
Je voulais demander, est-ce que c'était une volonté de sa part de dynamiter quelque part le cinéma indien, de faire quelque chose de plus court, de faire quelque chose sans musique, sans danse, sans chorégraphie, et quelque chose que j'ai particulièrement apprécié aussi, je ne sais pas si je me trompe, j'ai l'impression que le son a été pris en prise directe, que c'est pas doublé, et du coup j'ai ressenti beaucoup plus d'émotion.
Yeah, so it's a great question. Because it's a very intense story. It's a story which is about grief, about guilt, about rage, about anger and revenge, of course. So there was no space for dance and songs. There's actually no space for dance and song because, to be very honest, I shot a song when I was shooting.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did. Like so we shot a song, and then in the edit we put it, and then we started realizing that no, it's not working because it's taking away the intensity, it's taking away the emotion. And it was a very tough decision because, even in India, which the version which we've released even in India, it does not have a song. Yeah. So normally, like in Indian films, and even in, like, we can have two different edits. Like for international edit, it can be a different edit, and for India, it could be a different edit. But even in Indian edit, we thought that it is distracting and it is taking away the emotion because I'm in flow with the emotion. I do not want to break that emotion. So that was a very calculated decision and very informed decision which we took. But we definitely released the song in Indian context because we have to release songs as a promotional material. So and we have like some 4 songs in the film, and they're very good. So we did release songs outside the film.
Good.
And to answer your next question is that yes, of course we did. So my sound designer Subhash Sahu, he is a guy that I've been working with him for the last 20 years now. And he's extremely passionate. So what he did was, because we were shooting in a set, so what he did, he went out and we were shooting certain portions in the actual train. So he went out and recorded that the ambient sound. And we were traveling for almost 8 hours, 9 hours, and he recorded the ambient sound and came. And about the dialogues, it is amazing that you've pointed it out. What was happening in the set, there were fans. There were huge fans, because we wanted to show that the moment you open the door, the wind gushes in. So there were huge fans. There was hydraulics. There was motors, and then you get that sway in the Indian train. So there was motors beneath the set which we had constructed. So all these things, the sound was there, it was so strong, but still he managed to record sync sound dialogues. And what you see is 70% of the dialogues are from the set itself.
That's amazing. You know what? So you recreated the cabin train on the set?
Yes.
Because, watching your movie, I felt like because of the camera angle you choose to, it feels very real. And I thought you were shooting in an actual train. And that's smart of you, because, normally when they recreated a set, camera is like, specialization of the camera is like all of that. But in yours, it's very it feels like very real. All the camera angles feel like you are in the train. So it's like very, how many say that? Organic. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it.
We did almost for 9 months. We were hard prepped for 9 months to get this set design done. And we created miniatures, and we experimented whatever I told you. We experimented on the miniature to see if we can achieve that or not. And then slowly, each step, there was a miniature created. Then there was a 10 feet long, which was created. Then there was only 3 compartments which were created. And then finally we created 2 coaches, 2 cars of the train. So we went in installments to create the set.
That's amazing. Nagesh, tu as une autre question?
Oui, j'ai une autre petite question. Juste par rapport à l'acteur principal, qui en fait, d'après ce que j'ai compris, a pas fait grand-chose. Il a juste fait quelques séries télé, une apparition dans un autre film. Est-ce que c'est une volonté de sa part, quelque part, de rafraîchir, d'imposer une nouvelle génération d'acteurs dans son film? Est-ce que c'est quelque chose, est-ce qu'il a pensé à ça, ou est-ce que c'est un hasard total?
So Laksh, it's his first film. It's not, it's his first film. It's his debut film, and what a phenomenal work he has done.
Yeah.
It was my producers Karan and Guneet, Nachin and Apurva, we were discussing about the casting, and we were thinking of who to cast, and Karan told me there are a bunch of people you should go and meet. And he said there are these 4 or 5 guys that we should meet, and the first one was Laksh. And when I met him, I got the sense that there is so much of vulnerability, and at the same time there is that machismo, there is that anger, there's a latent anger in him. At the same time, when you see that vulnerability and that latent anger, I felt that kind of combination I am not going to get anywhere else. And he, in the film, he's madly in love with that girl, with Tanya, and he's bringing that emotion so very well, and he's so weak in front of her. He wants to do everything for her. And at the same time, the moment when the tide changes, it becomes the most strong person in the train in that entire journey. He becomes rock solid guy.
That's him.
And she's saying, are you sure you should meet? You should at least meet these 3-4 people and then take a decision. I said, no, I'm done. I'm convinced. I don't want anybody else.
Awesome. And
excuse-moi, John, si jamais tu peux lui poser une petite question aussi sur les chorégraphes, parce que je crois qu'il y a un Coréen dedans. Et c'est pourquoi il a choisi ce gars-là particulièrement?
That's a very interesting story. What happened was, I've never done action before. This is my first action film. So what I did was, because I'd never done action before, what I did was I wrote down the entire action. So whatever you've seen, I've written it down in the script. So I've written everything in detail, the entire action spec. So when I did that, and when I started looking for action choreographers in India, in India, normally the trend is that, the action choreographers go and shoot the film, like go and shoot that action sequence. And my first condition was that I don't want you to shoot it. Because if you shoot it, what am I going to do? I'll be sitting on the side because it's 70% is the action in the film. So it was becoming difficult to get an action choreographer from India because rightfully so, I've not done action before and they did not want to put that, they did not want to risk their careers with me because if I would have, if it wouldn't have made sense, then it would be a disaster. So then I was not getting a choreographer from India. And that is when I we started looking out of the country. And that brought us to Mr. O Young. And when I met him for the first time, I said, I want you to just choreograph. I don't want you to shoot the film. Is it fine with you? And I read the script and came back and I said, yes.
Yes, it's so like Korean movies. Because, in Korean movies, when you have fight, there's not a lot of gun too. In particular, in movie, it's only blood and blood. And we love that.
Yes.
We love that.
Yeah.
You brought us about, you told us about Tanya, who played Tulika. And spoiler alert, I loved how, I don't like it, but how she died in the movie. And then you have like the title kill just right after. It meant so intense emotion. And I was like, and I sent a text to Nagesh and I said, whoa, the death of Tulika. And right after the title and the rage. And you are instantly like with your hero, with Amrit. We want to avenge her. It is so organic. We can just relate it to the pain, and the sadness. Yeah. And like I told you before, right after the sadness switched from the side of the bad guys, and we felt about the sadness from the bad guys and the family when the Fanny says, "How you a monster? I just killed 4 of your people, and you killed 40 of my family." And I felt and now I understand the alien, influences.
Yes.
Yes. You just talk about. Nagesh, t'as une autre question? Une dernière peut-être?
Écoute, pas foncièrement, en tout cas, non, juste félicitations pour ce film. Peut-être oui sur les, encore une fois, hein, tu lui as pas dit là juste avant, mais c'est très organique, tout ça. Il y a énormément de prothèses, il y a énormément de latex, il y a énormément d'effets à l'ancienne, des couteaux dans l'œil, dans la jugulaire, etc. Et tout ça est fait sans effets spéciaux pour la plupart du temps. Pareil, c'était un choix. Et demande-lui si c'était un choix, mais il va me répondre oui, je pense. Mais en tout cas, que c'était particulièrement agréable de retrouver du vrai sang et des vrais effets spéciaux à l'ancienne.
So, it was a mammoth task to manage that. And I'll tell you, because, so Zubi, my prosthetic HOD, Zubi is the one who's done all the prosthetics. She's the prosthetic artist. And we had to get her at least 5 months before the filming started, because she's very particular. She's extremely particular about about the kind of weapon which is going in, and she wanted to know what is the kind of weapon, how is it going in, where is it going in, what's the diameter, what's the weapon like, and who is going to be playing that person, because she's going to scan the face and make a mold and use that same knife to figure out the kind of wound it is. And the reason for that was, it was because, I feel that once the film goes into VFX, it's not in my control. Like, I don't know how the blood is going to look like and how the blood is going to come out. So what we did was, we put in a lot of pipes, and we put in pumps, and then we would, when the person is being stabbed, we would pump it from there. So we would have to, we would have to time how much time it takes for the blood to flow from there and come out. So there were a lot of times what would happen is that, if they would push the knife, they would stab, and the blood would come a little later, or a blood would come a little earlier. So the timing was very, very important. And I was taking long takes. So it was not like I was not taking shorter takes. So if the blood hasn't come out, then I have to start the shots from point A again. So that was quite, it was quite a mammoth task to get that thing right. But what it did was, in the VFX, we only had to enhance and we had to clean the wounds. The kind of reality, the kind of real effect we would have never achieved if it hadn't been VFX only.
That's amazing. What amount of works you achieved. It's amazing. So congratulations, Nikhil. Thank you for your time. It was so great to have you on, and I hope Kill will be a huge success internationally, I guess. And we are so pleased to have, because we don't have many, Indian movies in theater, and it's so good to have yours and to enjoy it. So thank you again, and we stay in touch, of course. I will let you know when the podcast is online.
Definitely.
Thank you for your time. Take care of you, Nikhil. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you guys.
Bye.